Let the burn and learns begin. Let me first of all make horrible noises with all the audio stuff here. Let's see if this actually works or not. I've got it plugged in. I'm trying to plug it in and charge my phone and use a microphone at the same time, which it may not like. We'll see. But let me have a beverage. I don't look so horribly sweaty today, which is weird because I really was and am. We finally got some more orange bubbly back. I'm very excited about that. So, this is my Burn and Learn. This is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to enjoy my retirement years with my fabulous wife, Jane, my spectacular son, Sebastian, and my wretched dog that doesn't know how to play catch. I tried every so often she tricks me into it. She'll bring me the ball and I will take the ball and I will throw it, and then she just wants to be chased with it in her mouth, and it's just not that exciting for me. So yeah, one day she'll learn, and one day maybe I'll teach her. So the point of this thing is I hate exercise, hate it, every aspect of exercise. Like it just feels like a freaking waste of every second and fiber of my body. So I don't like to do it, but when I do have to do it, I get on the elliptical machine, this torture device, and I try to learn something while I'm doing it, and I like to share what I've learned with everybody. So that's what I'm doing here today. And Jessica Chowblini says, a dog that doesn't fetch? I know. She's not a dog. She's a dog running the cat operating system, I think would be the best way of putting it. Crazy Nut Denmark, how are you? Casually, Sandra, good evening to you too. It is a bit late today. I thought I'd wait. I wasn't actually going to exercise, to be honest. I had a great catch-up chat with the always freaking hilarious and fabulously informing Gimpy G and Lance. Just great to catch up with him. It's been way too long. Bit late this morning, isn't it, Jonathan Leitenhagen? It's very true. But here's the deal. I'm going to see the family for a few days up at a cottage. So I thought, you know what? I'm probably not going to exercise. So I'll exercise late tonight so I don't miss. Well, we'll see. Maybe they've got exercise machines up there. Knowing them, it sounds like more like a W hotel than it does a roughing it cottage. So we'll see. Late one for you today. It is true. Chaos Surveyor. Everyone's noticing that. Hope you're well. Good. My 3D for Enterprise E lights and painting coming up. Ooh, you've got an Enterprise that you're doing. Christian says hi. I say hi back. It's 2 a.m. I was just about to go to bed. Sorry, Tina. I apologize. My corn snake was named McKay. Ooh, do like snakes, I must say. I have a cat that runs dog software. Yeah, there you go, Jessica. So you feel it. Melty Man. Amanda Bricker, I like that. Melty Man, that's me. Oh, God. I remember one of my favorite magazines growing up was this horror special effects magazine called Fangoria. And I think they've sort of revived it recently as a sort of a more digital version, and you can buy, I guess you could buy magazines as well now. But I used to, oh my God, I loved that. And one of the ones that I was haunted by was the incredible Melting Man astronaut who'd come back from space with some horrible disease that made him melt. And oh my God, I just thought the effects were the coolest things I've ever seen. Never saw the movie. Never saw the movie. Read article after article after article about it. Never saw it. Now I talk about it. I think maybe I should watch it. It'll probably be awful, but it looked. Oh God, the effects were so cool. Anyways, 1 a.m. My English has gone the way of the dinosaur playing Hearthstone with a friend I've not spoken to in years. Oh, that sounds exciting, Chaos. Well, don't worry about the English then. Enjoy your friend. Enjoy your friend time. Oh, Christiane says that they love Fangoria too. That's great, isn't that? I mean, one of my greatest triumphs as an actor. Some people want Oscars. Some people want, awards, accolades, fame, fortune, Guinness commercials, body like Jason Momoa. But I don't want, I eschew all of that stuff. Eschew, is that the right word? I don't want any of that stuff. I want to be in Fangoria magazine, and I was for Scanners 2. I was in Fangoria magazine. I thought that was the coolest thing. To this day, I think this may be one of the coolest things that ever happened to me was being in that. So, Fangoria is where I read about Basket Case. Oh yeah, I've not seen Basket Case here. I've seen so many clips of it and heard such horrific stories about it. But I guess I should see it. I just watched Icemen. What a great movie. Loved the long hair. Oh wow, Jessica. Jesus, that's going back a long ways. Yeah, that was an interesting part. That was an interesting part. All these very handsome men, and I'm the only one who ends up having a sex scene or something. I can't remember exactly what happened to the movie, but it was, that was really fun to shoot. Actually, I got to say, it was a. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It was torture to shoot because it was freezing cold and there was no money. but I met some amazing actor folks on that I really enjoyed. Um, yes, Iceman, probably not familiar with it because I can't imagine it's probably pretty hard to find, I imagine. Okay, I'll gladly listen to you while trying to fall asleep. Okay, Tina, I'll try to talk in a soothing manner that allows you to fall asleep. I'll try not to get too excited about anything and then randomly wake you up. So let's talk about the learn part of the Burn and Learn today. So ironically, what I was learning about today was spawning actors and then destroying actors. And I was giggling the whole time because that's just the kind of sense of humor that I have. Actors are, of course, are objects in Unreal Engine, this game development platform that I've been playing with. I my last mission on it was I had to do a little maze where this golden ball would roll through a maze, and you had to just do a simple little maze and have it tap a cylinder at the end, which would then teleport you to the next level. So I did that, and then of course, being the keener that I am, I then went in and played with. Is that our dog? I wonder. Actually, I should go check. Let me just go check. Make sure that isn't Mike being a total jerk. Double checking right now. Let's see. She could be standing by the gate just causing chaos as dogs go by. That's possible too. Are you causing chaos, dog? My dog causing chaos. Even from behind a closed gate, she can still cause absolute chaos. You got to love her for it. Dog that can't fetch. I mentioned that. So it's what's funny is she doesn't even have to bark, but for some reason she's one of those dogs that just sets off all other dogs. It's so weird. He's a saucy lumberjack and he's okay. Aha, Daniel's got it. Strangely enough, the lumberjack breakfast was actually what we did have this morning because my son and I went out for breakfast together. It was lovely. There was lots of clean going on here, so we dashed off to the local diner and had a meal together and discussed. Well, I mean, he was very kind. He humored me by talking about his future bit, and he's mentioned. I mean, he's a big fan of the computer stuff. He really likes the program. He's really enjoyed the programming side of stuff. Really enjoyed doing that Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and he wondered if maybe cybersecurity might be something that he might look into too. So, I'm trying not to get too excited about it. But I have said that as soon as he gets any free time to put some things in his ear holes and listen to it, that he has to listen to this podcast called Darknet Diaries because I'm convinced that will turn the tide and have him, interested in the cybersecurity stuff because those stories are just amazing. And the way he tells them are just amazing. Anyways, I think it would be a great field. So would dog training. But anyways, Gordy One Kenobi, how are you, Gordy One Kenobi? No, you're not our only hope. You could be our only hope, but who knows? I mean, I did no offense to you in any way. But so yes, so Unreal Engine, learning about how to make this maze. I make the maze. I then decide that that's not enough. I can't, just a silly cylinder. Why have a cylinder when you can have a statue? So I put a statue in. Then I thought, well, it's a bit bright and cheerful. What if we just take out all the light and put in burning fires? So I put burning fires into light it, and then I added some particle effects. So there's like sparks flying everywhere, and it's just It's kind of like it's like the MySpace equivalent. You know those MySpace pages where everyone puts way too many animated GIFs on? It's kind of the MySpace equivalent of an Unreal Engine game. So I did that and had way too much fun with that. My new mission now, should I choose to accept it, and I have, is to create like a top-down tower defense game. All again, keep in mind these are very simple. I'm just going through what these wonderful lessons are teaching me. So it's nothing particularly original, but I do like to sort of give it my own little, what should we call it, flair, shall I say? Jim Dublas is the guy who I've been doing recently, his tutorials. Although, as I say, Windows is amazing as well. Although Windows is more about the visual side of it, this is absolutely programming. This is just the blueprint stuff. My theory being that the best way to understand a game is from the inside out. So if I can get in there and figure out how the blueprints work, which is their visual programming language, which are basically functions in little boxes that you can drag and drop and connect things, and then you can create your own functions and stuff, your own nodes, as they call them. So my thought was, if I could understand the programmatic approach to the system, that I would just be that much further ahead when it comes to actually, trying to create some cinematics and stuff. Although I have been playing with some cinematics as well. My wife has a film that she wants to do out in Newfoundland. Well, maybe not Newfoundland. I've said Newfoundland because she says the East Coast, and I immediately say I want to go to St. John's. But the idea is, I can't remember the name of the bay. Something wonderful name of a bay, Calamity Bay or something. It's just a wonderful name. Anyway, there's a bay that apparently these icebergs will come into, and one of the images they want in the movie is this ice cube is this iceberg, and a person standing on the hill looking down at it, sort of over their shoulder, the wind blowing their clothing and stuff. And I thought that I could do in Unreal Engine, because it also avoids the key right now for me with the cinematic side of stuff would be trying to avoid that uncanny valley. Like there's just you just can't trick these this organic intelligence that we've got. It's very very hard to trick it into thinking that what you're seeing is a human if it's not a human. But but if you can put the camera in places where you're looking at other things and it can be it can look natural, I think you could probably get away with it. And I'm sort of just trying to come up with some like a workflow for something like that, and I just think it'd be kind of fun to experiment on something, and if I can help Jane out at the same time, even better. So there you go. But tower defense, very important. Of course, as soon as I say tower defense, I immediately think of Stargate, and I think maybe I could, instead of a tower, maybe I could just put the like a little 2D version of the Atlantis city map in it, and then put a tower on that, and then have wraith ships instead of bugs attacking. That would be fun. A little Atlantis defense game, and then I could record audio for it of me just shouting and insulting people as they try to use the cannon. There you go. Game done. Sold. Please make a Stargate tower defense game. Shake and milk. Now I've set it up for me now, haven't I? Just stepping by right now, watching SGA. Love how you act, especially when you outsmart everyone. Isn't it great, Ren? Great. I wish I could be outsmarting more people in my real life, but as it turns out, it's better to have writers do that for you who know their sci-fi. I'm all for more Stargate. Yeah. There you go. I'd play that. Well, I guess I could look into it. I don't know how you release a game. I mean, it would be the buggiest, crappiest spaghetti code of a game, but just as a sort of it would be kind of fun to say I've put a game out. So yeah, maybe I'll do like a Stargate tower defense, and and I don't know how you add audio, but I'm sure that will come up in one of my tutorials as well. So again, what I try to do is I'm trying to stick to the tutorials because it is very easy to go like, I'm going to do this, and you haven't done the basics and you're tripping over yourself trying to figure out what everything is and how it works. So what I try to do is stick to what they've asked, but then sort of embellish it with stuff that makes it kind of, a little more fun. Like, wouldn't it be fun if when your tower attacked something that it would explode and it'd be fire? I do like fire. Any chance I get fire in there, I could. So anyways, I get the cast over the phone to do some audio for the game. Oh my God, could you imagine that? We just all like shout at each other. That would be great. It's going very good, Empire Angel. Thank you very much. I'm fat and happy, I would say. Lack of Stargate games is absolutely criminal. Oh my God, don't even start me. Bitbanger, don't even start me. All I will say is go check out, what are they called? Could someone remind me? What is the name of the company that's doing the Stargate Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition version of? They have this wonderful approach to it. Wyvern? Maybe it's Wyvern Gaming? I think it might even be Wyvern Gaming. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, it is good. It's good. Thank you, Moto. It's a good place to be. Slytherin. That's it. Slytherin Studios. They've got this. It's based on the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons model, and what they do, which I think is genius because I'm an actor, is that they split. They don't call them campaigns. They call them episodes. So you're basically creating a Stargate episode. It's like pre Atlantis, I guess. So there's maybe McKay is a little baby, a very smart baby, outsmarting people in the Montessori that he's attending. I'm assuming he went to Montessori because all the weird smart kids do that, like my son. So that is a fun game to play, I've got to say. I have not tried. Has anyone tried the other one? Is it Slytherin that does that one, or is there another one? Baby McKay. There you go. That's the new one. How was filming for Cube? Was like being cooked in an easy bake oven. Remember those little kits you could get as a kid that had like a red light bulb, and you could put the dough in, and it would the light bulb would heat things up enough to actually cook the cake. I was the cake. Me and my wonderful co-stars were all the cake on that. Imagine making SG game in Unreal Engine though. I mean, this is it. I don't know. I wonder what they used. What did Stargate Project use? Their stuff was amazing. They've got all these amazing maps and stuff. The problem is, MGM is incredibly litigious, and they love to slap lawsuits on people for using their stuff when they're not supposed to. So even my little tower defense game, I probably have to call it something else, like, you know, McClay's Atlantis, and we're being attacked by Waif, something like that. George Soros, 14-year-old wife, hi. Interesting moniker, I loved Cube. Soros's 14-year-old wife, what? What's going on? George Soros's 14-year-old wife, hi. Interesting moniker, I loved Cube. It's an odd combination, I would have to say. Nicole DeBoer is going to be at a con in 2025 in London. Are you going? Oh my God, I would love to see her again. I haven't seen her for years. She is, oh my God, she's just the most, yeah, absolutely love her. I would definitely do a London con. Well, Jessica, if you got any more information on it, let me know. I'll try to do that, because that would be really, I'd love to see Nicole. And frankly, I kind of like my UK too, especially when I'll be retiring there with a pig and a tractor as soon as I can. There was the Dakara weapon puzzle gaming universe that Eli was playing in the first episode. Was that a real game though? Did they make a game out of that? I would love a Stargate RPG. Yeah, well then, Casually Sandra, go check it out. What are they called? Were they called? I guess they were called Slytherin. Go check out the Dungeons and Dragons version, because it's really, really fun. In fact, they were going to send me all of the books and stuff, and they never did, or maybe I never gave them my address. I should bug them about that, because I'd love to do that. I'd like to play it again, because it was certainly new to me when I was doing it. So I don't think they're doing new RPG episodes anymore, unfortunately. What? Shut the front door, Beth. What? Come on. Really? Oh, God, MGM sucks at merchandising and licensing. What the hell? Guys, get your SHIT together, folks. Maybe spend a little less time on your stupid gambling ads and make some good TV and games. Anyways, all right. Good morning, David. Good morning to you, Slappy, or Five Lappy, depending on how you say it, I guess. Ascension Con. Oh, it's like a Stargate specific convention? Really? McKay versus the Waves. Don't you think? I like that. I like that. David, what are your thoughts on the Ontario Science Centre debacle? Oh, Christian, what do I have to say about that? It's interesting. I've only heard one side of it, to be honest. Like, we listen to the CBC, and I feel like the CBC is a pretty, I listen to them. I like I like it, but I don't think anyone would argue that it's a fairly left-leaning, news show. So I have a certain amount of grains of salt that I take when I hear them going after, these sort of conspiratorial, anti sort of more conservative things. That said, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Let's just make this clear right off the bat. This is purely conjecture and my own opinions on what I have heard based on this, as I say, probably more left-leaning stuff. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a huge waste of an absolutely spectacular space. I mean, yeah, it's old. It's got, Jesus, some of the stuff that's in there was there when I was a kid going to the Science Center. But it's a neat place. It's kind of it's a headache waiting to happen, but it's lots of cool science stuff. And I remember the space stuff being incredibly impressive, and there was just some really neat stuff. I went actually fairly recently with Alan Malventano, and his wife. We went just to sort of like as tourists, and it was just great. It's kind of fun being there with Alan too, because he can explain a lot of the stuff that I wouldn't know anyway. So he could just be making stuff up for all I know, but so I was kind of, I'm sorry, basically, so what's happened is the government here, the local government here, has decided that that it wants to shut it down, and it wants to move it to this other piece of land where there used to be the Canadian exhibition, what's it called, Ontario Place, this really fun family parkland that's been shut down for years now. I would go so far as maybe even decades at this point, but it's been abandoned forever. And I can't believe they somehow couldn't make that work, but still they couldn't. I used to go and see movies there. I used to see like Apocalypse Now in full, what was it called? I guess what would it have been called? IMAX, in full IMAX. It was a massive IMAX screen there. It was insane. I remember seeing like Marlon Brando's head was like the size of a city block. It was insane. But so that's been shut down for ages. They want to move the science center there. Um, I think as sort of part of their plan to rejuvenate this part of the city. There's some kind of weird giant spa plan. Like it definitely sounds like a lot of very dodgy developer stuff going on. But who knows? Again, I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. I like they could all be, it's probably totally legit, but it just sounds a little murky. And then all of a sudden, the science center gets this report that a couple of these, it's the same issue they've had in England, where they've had to redo a bunch of the schools because of this aerated cement, I believe it's called. Like it's a type of cement that they used a lot in the 70s. It was sort of cheap and supposedly very effective, and as it turns out, it also falls apart. So there's a number of schools in England that are being redone here. A ton of the schools here have it. They haven't done any rebuilding on any of them. The science center has like, I can't remember what it is, it's like 14 panels or something of it that could be reinforced, but they've decided to shut the entire place down instead immediately because they're worried that if snow lands on it, it could all crumble down and stuff. So I don't know how serious that is. I don't know enough about it to really voice an opinion on it. It does sound like a very wasteful and and sort of reactionary approach to what was an amazing place for inspiring kids into to seeing just how cool science could be. I mean, it was all hands-on stuff, and of course we went just after the pandemic, or even during the pandemic for that matter. I mean, well, the tail end of it, when things were beginning to open up again, and it just felt like a giant petri dish of bacteria and plague because I'm a complete hypochondriac. But yeah, it was an amazing place. So I'm very sad to see it sort of shutting down. It was in an odd place. It's a little bit out of the way. Strangely, not out of the way for me now. It's actually quite close to me. But the Ontario place relocation would be downtown by the water. I guess that's probably a great place for a science center. Let's face it, and it's downtown, and it's all part of the same thing. So maybe it just makes more sense. I don't know why we have to have everything in the same little clustered area. It'd be nice. I like things spread out a little bit more. But that said, from a tourist standpoint, it may be better, and from a school situation, maybe it's better to have it all down there. So I don't know, but yes, it does sound a bit dodgy, and there's all sorts of conspiracy theories running around, and the BBC seemed to think that BBC and the CBC seemed to think that there was some ulterior motives going on. Anyways, seriously, Amazon, get with the program. Yeah, no kidding, Casually Sandra, they've got it now. Oh, I love it. Hacklantis, McClay versus the Waif. I love it. Hi from Japan again. Michelle, hello again. Was there ever a plan for an evil Rodney McKay episode? I love Tornado from Sea. Oh my God, Michelle, it's like you're in my brain and you're looking through the thoughts and you go, hey, I know that one. So I actually when I get asked recently, people have said, like, is there anything you didn't, that the writers and such didn't do with your character that you wanted to do? And I've always said, well, recently, always said, evil McKay. Like I want that's a staple of growing up watching television was the good guy who then has to face off against the bad guy. I just think that would be like, how awesome would it be to have like McKay versus McKay, but like spy versus spy from the Mad magazines. I just like, oh God, that'd be so cool. So that's why I said that's what I sort of miss out. Yes, Tori and Walter are already guests. Oh, look at that. Okay, great. Hey, David, any thoughts on why we can't get a Stargate game? I feel like the franchise is perfect for an MMO. Oh, Michael, so we were talking a little bit about that just earlier, but there was a plan for an MMO. And one of the things that I tried to float by them was I said, like, hey, you know what I'd love to do? Like, you should hire the actors to come in, like on weekends or record some stuff and go in and play the game and interact as our characters in this MMO. I just thought that'd be so amazing. The opportunities lost because of the waffling nature of MGM and sci-fi and such is absolutely extraordinary to me. I think it's mainly actually probably MGM. I think sci-fi. I mean, sci-fi. They licensed the show. It wasn't their show, so they didn't push that as much as they would shows that they owned, like the fabulous Battlestar Galactica, which we talked about before. Stefan says that he's glad to stumble upon one more of your streams. Oh, very good. Yeah, for some reason people are sort of dropping by. Are finding it again for some reason. Something about the YouTube approach seems to be working. Well, I do understand MGM being a little beep, but Helldivers 2 is amazing. MP game, and same could be done as an IG for SG. All calculated seasonal landscapes planets. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, Grant. There's no shortage of ideas for new shows or new games, but it's not on our hands. Unfortunately, it's up to the bigwigs who keep changing out executives and stuff, whether it's MGM or Amazon. I don't know what's going on there. So I can't even imagine Baby Hewlett, Baby Geezer, maybe. Um, I Lance, I'd probably look something like you. That's probably what I. That's probably what I look like. The Baby Hewlett would be like. You could play Baby Hewlett in the movie, maybe. Lance and I just had a good chat today. I had a nice catch up with Lance. It's always a good pick me up to have a chat with Lance. I saw Depeche Mode on Ontario Place. Oh my God, Christiana, it's so funny. I saw the Spoons. I saw who else did I see? The Pixies. I saw Frank Black. I saw Lowest of the Low many times. I saw God, who else? Yeah, a lot of concerts there. I loved it. I mean, as a teenager, we spent a lot of time there, and I remember wandering through Ontario Place with potential girlfriends and on dates and things as a kid, and really have quite sort of fond remembrances of it. The other one I remember, the horrific story I have, was Baz when he had just learned to walk. So he was just sort of beginning to wander around, and we went to Ontario Place with the family, my parents and stuff, and we were in this it was this whole room, multi-layered room, where they had these Nerf guns, and you could fire Nerf guns and stuff, and it was so much fun. And we went in, and we were like throwing Nerf guns and throwing Nerf things around, and firing Nerf cannons and stuff, and I was like, so Jane's got the. Wait a second, Jane, you don't have. Where's Baz? Why isn't Baz with you? She's like, I thought he was with you. I'm like, what, Grandpa? Do you have a no? Baz is gone. Baz has left the build. We do not know where Baz is. We look everywhere. I grab my dad. I say, Dad, you stand by the door, and just make sure you don't see anyone walking off with a kid. And we're ready to like shut the place down and start looking for people who've stolen our child. And I just thought, I'll just check upstairs. And I go upstairs, and the kid who's only just learned to walk has just climbed a flight of stairs, wandered to the only available Nerf cannon that he can't see over. And this is the Nerf cannon up here. He's holding the Nerf cannon. He's firing the freaking Nerf cannon. And he's like, we're like, ah! So I don't know whether I was incredible. I'm of course now very proud of him for that kind of devious behavior. But of course back then I basically that's when all my hair went gray. Yeah, there you go. End of story. Grandfather of AI donated 1 million already to repair it. Really? Well, that's interesting. Um, what? Bob Esponja's shat of beef? That's interesting. I don't know what that means. Repair. Aerated concrete can be delicate, but I think they've worked out the kinks at this point. Yeah, but unfortunately, in the newly manufactured stuff, of course, yeah, exactly, right. But the old stuff apparently is not. The kinks were that it sort of fell on people. I appreciate your thoughts, David. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Christian. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I really shouldn't be giving opinions on this because I just don't know enough about it. But my sense is it's a bit of a tempest in a teacup. I feel like there's, like, we got elections coming up everywhere. And I feel like there's just a lot of mud being thrown around right now. And oh my God, we have to watch. There's a debate tonight, isn't there? Oh my God. Someone needs to do what they did in England. So in England, they had the two potential prime ministers, facing off against each other in a chat, so yelling at each other and cutting each other off as they do. Even the Brits, although the Brits do it with so much more charm. And one of the they go to the audience. They go to the audience and ask if anyone's got any questions. This guy gets up and he goes like, are you really like the best that Britain has in the way of leaders? Like, is that it? Is that you two are it? That's it. That's our options. Seriously? I was like, I really want someone to do that in America and go like, guys, dudes, like seriously, you couldn't find someone who wasn't like crazy old or crazy and old or whatever. Like, I mean, it just feels like, like doddering old white guys, do we really have to cling to power for this long? Anyways, politics. Shouldn't do that, should I? But of course, I'm a reed in the wind now, and I'm trying to be understanding to all both sides and all the rest of it. So there you go. Debates in 15 minutes. Okay, I should go shower. Oh, I still get lost in those quarries. Quarries? Really? Good evening. Sweep and Clear. How are you, Sweep and Clear? Sweep and clear. You sound very tidy. I don't recall very clearly, but my mom told me I once got lost in a quarry in Czechoslovakia on top of a rock pile. Dude, maybe you're like actually a fairy child. Maybe you were stolen and replaced with. Maybe you're a fairy and the baby child is gone. Maybe the same thing with Baz. Only it'd be a nerf, like a nerf child. Depeche Mode and Eraser are two bands on my bucket list to see. I've heard like Depeche Mode seems like the last band I would need to see because they're all just like do 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 do, like they just stand there. But apparently the concerts are great, and my stepsisters were huge fans and went to all of them. Erasure, yeah, I mean Eraser's good. I mean I there's only a couple of songs I like about Erasure, but they definitely they're the kind of that and Depeche Mode sort of eventually got me into sort of the more dance music stuff, which I like these days. So scary feeling, isn't it? Just I don't recall. Here we go. The debate starts about 15 minutes. Good evening from Sweep and Clear. Easy Sparky says, nah, hi, Sweep and hi, Sweep and Clear. Oh yeah, go and see. See, look how nice everyone is here, Sweep and Clear. You know, you show up out of the blue, people actually say hi. I love this bunch. Corey's always made me think of Doctor Who. Oh my God, Hyperfocus is exactly what I was thinking. It's so true. We should have shot in more Corys. We didn't do a lot of Corey shooting on Stargate, but you're so right. I have this image of like John Pertwee or Tom Baker sort of stumbling through quarries. The other thing that reminds me of Doctor Who is the big oil drums. I don't know if they were oil or what they were, but I think they were oil. The ones that would sort of like the more they were full, they would rise up, and then as they emptied, they would drop down. And they were always like scenes of people like autons running around and attacking people around. There's always around this sort of industrial area. It makes sense. I guess the industrial areas make sense because that's the future, right? What do you listen to nowadays, music wise? Well, Spotify at the end of the year sort of classifies you, looks at your music and classifies you as a sort of as a type. And my type, apparently, I'm like a lonely teenager, like a lonely teenage girl, because I listen to way too much of the National and Taylor Swift and lots of. For some reason, I like sad music somehow. I get a thrill from the sad music, and I am a bit of a Taylor Swift fan. I've got to say. I can't help it. I got pop. I'm a pop kid. I was not. I don't have good taste in music. I know what I like, and I play it over and over and over again until I drive my family nuts. Hyper focused. Oh yeah, G something what? Yeah. Can you imagine if in the U.S. we actually had more moderate choices who weren't over 80 and almost 80? I, I, Geek and bibble. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Like you know, um, yeah, I don't even know what to say. I feel like it doesn't feel like much of a choice, does it? I mean, that's why I really think it'd be great if someone just got up and said, like, "Boy, you really gave us such a choice. Thanks." Anyways, exactly. Erasure is a bit of an acquired taste, I think. Yeah, I mean, although I think they're a little whiny, maybe. I'm here to confuse. You do it, Stefan. Bring it on. McKay is a lonely teen girl. Yeah, basically. At this point, both parties seem more like cults. Yeah, so true. That is so true. And people just hating who is the other in the other cult. I'm independent and don't have a party that represents me. Yeah, I feel a bit lost at sea as well. I mean, I think I've made it known before. I'm not. I find that Trump fellow very difficult. I can't get my head around him. He just yeah. Anyways, I just don't like him as a human or as a politician or as a businessman. I just don't like him. Yeah, maybe that's part of it. But again, it also as I have heard from many people that people have different opinions on these things. I gotta say, I loved Biden and Obama together. I thought were like just the coolest bunch ever. Him on his own, I mean, I think he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, as best as he can, I guess. And I think he's a good man, and I think he's sensible. But I think he's too old. I mean, they're both too old. But what am I saying? They're both too old. It's just but it's like asking your grandparents to run the country. I don't want my dad running the house, let alone running the country, for God's sake. Arcane has some amazing sad music, by the way. Yes, it does, Stefan. It's true. And Arcane 2, have you seen the trailer for that? It's too long to wait, but I can't wait. Arcane was great. If anyone hasn't watched in fact, I'm going to go back and watch it again. If anyone hasn't watched Arcane, the animated series on Netflix, they should do it. It's freaking awesome. It's fantastic. So Evil McKay is not a TS fan. I guess not. Oh, I guess that's true. Would that mean no? Because McKay wouldn't be a Taylor Swift fan, would he? He wouldn't agree with a woman having that much power. Try Dayseeker, sad hard rock. Really, Sweep and Clear. Okay, Dayseeker. I'll try to give it a go. Music taste tends to be a one of the emotionally resonance. We gain satisfaction and succor by listening to music whose mood reflects our own. Yeah, you. But then you'd think I was just like a depressed teenager all the time. I'm actually usually pretty happy, but I sort of enjoy these sort of like heart rending, strings of and musical notes and stuff. I just for some reason I've always liked that kind of stuff. And then every so often a sort of a good kick-ass jump around, jump around kind of thing. So it's become about hating one less than the other. Yeah, I agree. I get it's very true. David, how far are you in your Unreal learning? It's hard to say, Gervais. Like I said, I've done this little golden ball roll a golden ball maze challenge, and then added some Niagara particles and some fire effects, and threw in a few props and added some lights, and then worked on transitioning from one, allowing writing blueprint code to allow you to go from one level to another. So I'm getting up there with the blueprint stuff. Like I feel like it's I actually find it. I actually find it hard to get my head around it. There are times that I go like, "Oh, just give me the damn code. I don't want all this stupid node driggy draggy stuff. I want to just get my hands in and do that." But the reality is, I think the blueprint is a really nice way to learn the ins and outs of this engine. So that's the plan. Pretty much nobody's happy. Yeah, it's true. Wait, is this a light civil politics discussion? Those exist? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Stefan. That's the problem, isn't it? I feel like we've gone entirely Boolean because I've been programming. It's like on or off. It's wrong or right. I feel like there's no, and I'm just as guilty, like absolutely just as guilty. I mean, I remember having a chat with Walter about it because he had a different opinion on politics than I did, and he was just worried that meant that we could no longer talk type thing, and it was fascinating to talk to him about it. I mean, like I think it's really important to get different perspectives. I mean, uh, look at the what is it, the geeks, what are they called, salty nerds, the salty nerd podcast. I mean, those guys are a lot more right than my politics are, but I still freaking love them. I think they're great, and I value their opinion and their thoughts, and so I why can't we all just get along? Good God, what happened to me? When did I turn into such a hippy dippy, flowy, flowery, you know, like freak? Come on, I'm supposed to be a jerk. I gotta be more of a jerk. I gotta practice it more. Politics does suck. We need scientists to be the leaders. Well, but then but then you can get into Plato, Socrates, Plato. The idea that we should have a philosopher king, a benign dictator, and then we're screwed. You know what I mean? So I bought the soundtrack to Arcane. So good. Oh, really? I know it's available on Spotify, which I know all musicians hate, but that's how I get my music. So I just recently watched a video discussing the evolution of music in the human species. Wow. That's that you went down that rabbit hole, huh? We don't have Netflix at the moment, but I'm feeling like I'm missing out on all the shows I keep seeing are on there. There's some look. I mean, I sort of go through. I feel like we should just go through. We should sort of like subscribe and unsubscribe to various things as we go. Oh my God, I want to go see the debate. My son, I see him in the kitchen making dinner. I want to get in on that, or he's just eating cheese. So either I want to get in on his eating cheese or making dinner. So I should probably go. Poets of the Fall. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've that. Yes, I've heard of Poets of the Fall. I don't know why I've heard of them, but I have. European standpoint with some decent knowledge in politics and history, it is hard to grasp how Trump could ever be a choice for someone. Um, yeah, but he is. I mean, and he's a choice to people who aren't idiots. That also worries me. You know what I mean? I like I, I've never been particularly secure in my grasp of politics and the world, and I have friends who are most friends who are far more intelligent and well read on this stuff. I mean, Penny, my friend who was here the other day, she's amazing at this stuff. Like she's just, she's been reading up on this stuff since her Noam Chomsky days or whatever. I mean, she's just she's really up on this stuff, and it's always sort of a treat to hear their perspective on stuff because I don't know. So, but yeah, it does feel things feel things feel wrong. Things feel messed up right now. I definitely feel that. I think we're going to look back on this era and go like, oh my God, we were being influenced by so many different things. I think there is so much misinformation out there. I really, not to sound all conspiratorial, but I think that there are nation states constantly trying to undermine every aspect of what we do. I mean, that is a classic, you know, documented approach to undermining an enemy state. So I feel like there's a lot of that. I don't know where from. I have hunches, but I don't know. And I also think that the U.S. has a lot to answer for as well. So as does Canada, as does we all do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, a lot of the problems in the world, are happening in little countries that we don't know anything about because we want cheap T-shirts and manufactured goods at a price much lower than support a sort of a humane and healthy lifestyle for people. That said, I'm the worst. Like I'm using a little dongle for my phone right now that I bought for like $5. I mean it and delivered for free and well for Prime or whatever. So if someone suddenly goes like, well, we want to pay the drivers a little over minimum wage, and then all of a sudden all my packages go up in price, I'm like, and this is the problem. I mean, no one wants, it's that NIMBY thing, right? Not in my backyard, but not in my ordering, not in my Amazon basket, so it's yeah, I mean, there's a trailer for the second season. There is, I think, Stefan, go, I think so, have a look. David, that is a very good start. Oh, good, thank you, Gervais. That's good to know. I've got my Unreal. I'd love to take a course where I could come out of it and have like a certificate or something, because I feel like that could be good. Then in my old age, I could go in and be like I could sort of sneak into companies and be like their, blueprint and Unreal guy. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of fun. I love melancholy. That's it. Melancholy. I think I am a melancholic soul. I'm like, yeah, I'm like Morrissey, only without all the weird stuff. I mean, like all the not, like the meat is murder thing. I mean, although to be honest, I'm coming around more to his way of thinking stuff. But he just seems he's a bit weird about it, I thought. I'm a very conservative soul, I think. I often use dance music when depressed to get me out of the funk. Yeah, it's good too. Emotions play a big part. I mean, music is a drug. Like if you're down and you put on like a rockin' tune, it can suck you out of that. And it can also take you from a very happy mood to like, I can go from like gigglingly ecstatic to sobbing my eyes out, because of a song. I mean, I am, in other words, the biggest wimp on the planet. Maturing is realizing that the hippies were right about everything, just chilling out and smoking weed. Shaking milk advice. You got it. David, I've actually said that in the last couple of weeks. Oh, okay. The thing that helped me the most when it comes to politics was you don't have any enemies. Nobody has any enemies. Ooh. You don't have any enemies. Nobody has any enemies. That's interesting. The Vineland Saga. Is that the... Oh, was that... I read that. I think I read that. Who was that who wrote that? That was a tough book. Oh no, that was V. I'm thinking V. Sorry, never mind. Yes, we have Max now, and I'm trying to get through everything on it so we can cancel it. Yeah, exactly. So you can sort of slowly go through all the different things, canceling them until then. All right, I get it. I better get out of here. I'm so sorry if I've missed your chat. YouTube is a lot of, yeah, I'm using YouTube basically. What I need to do is sit down with School of Motion as well, because I've got that. I'm finding it difficult to use on the iPad. What I need to do is sit down with the computer and go through it, because that my friend Aaron was very, very kind and gave me a subscription to that, and I love what Winbush is doing with that. So in fact, I got a hi man or something from him the other day, which I was thrilled about. Have you listened to KMFDM? I think so. Industrial stuff was hit and miss for me. Some stuff I like. So this was already spoken about. But David, have dual citizenship? Are you voting in the U.S. election this year? Yes, I am. Wormhole. Yeah, we can vote in Canada and in the States, not in England. But and we vote every. Yeah, I feel like In fact, you know what? Jane and I make it a fun time. What we do is we sit down. We sit in bed and we put out all the computers and the iPads and everything, and we go through candidates and we go through all the different things, and we make it like a little date night, and we discuss stuff, and then we argue about stuff, and then we vote together, and then we mail the stuff off, and I got to say I quite like that now. The voting thing's always sort of felt kind of good to me, because I used to do it with my father here. We used to, in fact, I don't think maybe it's different. We're in different wards now, but I used to go and vote with my father. And again, it was just nice sort of father son time. And now it's like weirdly sort of funny, silly, romantic time with my wife as we figure out the candidates and stuff. But yeah, yeah, and it's just an important thing. I mean, I think one of the things, if you grow up with this, with the privilege of being able to do that, I think it's very easy to take it for granted. And I think I have in the past taken it for granted myself, where it just didn't seem like a priority. And I just think it's really important to sort of get out there and let yourself know, get yourself know. I don't care who you vote for. I just think it's important, if that, the more people who vote, the more I can, I think the more of an impact it's going to have on the win. Because if you know that a lot of people voted for someone, then you know that your way of thought on this stuff may not be the is not well isn't the popular consensus, and maybe it's time to reconsider where you are with things. I struggle with all of the imbalances and the potential inequalities that come into play with elections in the states. Well, elections everywhere for that matter, but with the states in particular, it just seems like there's so many sort of different angles on it. I always sort of naively had this sense that it was, you vote, it was like one vote, one voice, and then, but it seems that the nature of having to organize all this stuff adds a whole other element to the voting. Adds new rules to the game and everything that I hadn't taken into account. So it's fascinating. But anyways, all right, let's go see these two old men talk. Maybe they could just like somebody who was I talking to about? Oh, it was Lance. Lance Gimpy G said he said it looks. Remember that terrible YouTube video where people would pay homeless drunk men to fight each other on the street? He was saying that it was going to be like drunk brawls. There's just two old guys just trying to hit each other, Oh God, I love that guy. That Lance guy, he's funny. You should go follow him. Go follow Gimpy G. If Cal's around, much appreciated, Cal, just for you being here. And if not, then enjoy your weekend. I got to go into nature. Ugh, God, stupid nature. So yeah, so I'll try to pop in when I can. I don't think I'm going to be exercising though, because I don't, well, we'll see. Maybe they have an elliptical machine there. Who knows? So in the meantime, be brave, be kind, be brilliant. I guess be political, but kind about it. And, brave, kind, and brilliant. Yeah. And I will say cheerio and huzzah! Talk to you soon. Thank you all. You don't know what a reward this is for me, what a pleasure this is. I get off that stupid elliptical torture crap, and I get to come and have these discussions with you, and I feel very, very lucky about that, and I really appreciate you coming out and being a part of it. So have a great weekend. Cheerio! Huzzah! Bye! See you later. Do I want to? Yes, I think I want to stop. Yes, I have to go now.